Let's talk about Eastern Red Cedar. This is Shady Bonsai. Okay everyone, time to talk about Eastern Red Cedar. This is a species that doesn't get a lot of love in the bonsai world. As a species just on its own, a couple things to note. First of all, not a cedar tree. Some people came here to the United States and saw these trees and said, hey, they look like cedar trees from back home. And they're not. They're junipers. So this is a juniper, like all the other junipers that are used in bonsai. It gets the little juniper berries on there and whatnot. It's got the both needle-like and scale-like foliage, depending on the kind of the vigor of the growth. It's more scale foliage when it's a bit older, very definitely needle-like when it's young, or if it's stressed and putting out like new growth, it can often be very needle-like when it first comes out. These are not well loved in the bonsai community for a couple of reasons. One is that most of the specimens you find are going to be absolutely ramrod, stick straight, stick in a pot kind of thing, and they're going to always stay that way. They don't in the wild get the twisted and gnarled, forms you see in other kind of junipers. They're also considered as kind of a weed. Most places they grow, I think we don't appreciate them in their adult form because, a little gift of fall there. We don't appreciate them in their adult forms. Often they get cut down before they get very old, and they're thought of as just a weedy shrub tree. So a lot of people haven't seen a mature Eastern Red Cedar and what it looks like, and they want to try to style something like this into one of these twisted forms like you'd see on a shimpaku or something, and that's just not that's not the nature of this tree. They do have a lot looser foliage as well, which can be problematic. It's hard to get it to be really dense and compact. They also will put out growth. Sometimes I've heard people say they prefer to put out growth kind of right in the crotches or on the trunk rather than add growth to existing branches. So they're a tricky species to work with, often not worth your while. Definitely not a shade species. So let's talk about what it's doing here. This is a tree that was growing on some land that someone I know owns. It was going to be, cut down with a bunch of others, again, as weeds. And I came out to take a look, and yeah, they were all the stereotypical ramrod straight trees, not really worth anything. This one was growing at an angle. I'm going to show you the close-up footage here. It's got this sort of natural shari down on the bottom that's developing, and that can be extended up over time as well. It's got a nice lean to it. This is actually leaning a little bit more than it was, when I dug it up from the ground. It was standing up straight, and then it was kind of weird down at the base. But when you lay it this way, it has a really great lean to it. It had a little more foliage on it than this. I did take some off as I had to reduce the root mass upon harvest. I had to take some of the top off as well. So it's been trimmed. Actually, this is natural up here. Some deer or something got it. I did trim this one back here. Some other branches have been trimmed back just so that the tiny amount of roots that were harvested did not have to support a huge level of foliar mass. I was really worried that this is not going to make it. I'm still not 100% convinced that it's going to make it. Dug up a pretty big root ball, like this. This is about how big the root ball was, and was convinced that I had, a good number of roots in there. Came home, had to actually pretty much rinse all of that soil off because it was so many roots of weeds just growing down through it. And I'm like, oh, there's tons of roots in here. None of those roots were from the tree. By the time I got all the soil off, I might as well have collected a root ball this big. I mean, there was just almost no roots in there. At that point, I was pretty sure this was not going to survive, but I have had these survive before. They can be pretty tough. So I put it into this container, which was is not ideal, but it was something that I had that would actually fit the size roots. I thought I was gonna have to have it in a bigger container. Turns out there wasn't much roots, so I went into essentially this plastic gardening tray, which is a little bit too flexible. I don't love that, but I was stuck in that moment of having to put it into something, so it's in here. Really, I drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom. It's got really great drainage. I then misted this thing about twice a day. Getting out here, just mist in the foliage, trying to do a lot of foliar feeding with the water because there was no roots really to support this foliage. So trying to let it take in some water through that foliage, doing pretty light watering of the actual soil itself since there's not a lot of roots in there. That first month or two, I was like, ooh, they're starting to be browning, and I would actually go through and kind of pick some of the dead brown needles off, mostly to help me keep track of what was I still seeing dieback. And the dieback started to slow, but I still wasn't seeing any actual growth of new foliage that would suggest that we have new roots growing. So that's pretty worrisome. It has survived though. I harvested this in I think like April or something like that. So I mean, this has been alive for many months now in this pot. It does just in the last month here, maybe there could be. I think I'm maybe seeing some signs of a little bit of some growth popping out on the trunk. So we may be seeing a little bit of new growth. But this isn't really the time of year when I would normally be putting on new growth, so we're battling that as well. My hope is that it's healthy enough going into the winter and has enough energy stored up that next spring it can really take off, start working on more root growth, start maybe adding a little bit of foliage if it needs it, although I'd be fine if it stays like this because we really got to focus on root growth. And I had one of these previously that I really loved. It was coming along really great. It's one of my favorite trees. I ended up losing when I moved to the new house and into the shady environment. It was a tree I'd worked with professionals on and taking it to workshops and whatnot. So that was tough. But I saw how much it improved over the years. Actually, that tree alive for about 15 years in a pot. And I saw how much it improved, so I know that I can make improvements on this. Now, will it survive in my shady yard? I do actually have in the backyard 2 junipers that are Eastern Red Cedars that seem to survive, now that they're established. So if I can put it in my very sunniest spot, I think it may actually survive. And at this point, it was a free tree. So we're going to go for it. But Eastern Red Cedar #1, we're going to see what happens. I do have a couple guy wires on here you might have noticed. I'm not doing any kind of structural wiring. This tree has to fully recover before I can do any real wiring on it. There's a couple little guy wires just to pull a couple branches down a little bit, to sort of spread out and take advantage of the sunlight better for those branches. And frankly, with these, they're so flexible. The amount I moved it is no more than what the wind is going to move it on a windy day. So it wasn't putting stress on the tree by putting a couple little guy wires on there. But any kind of structural bending and whatnot, and really changing the structure for bigger stuff, that will have to wait until this tree is fully recovered. So it's going to get tucked in for the winter here, not too long, and if it ever actually cools off here in Minnesota. It's supposed to be almost 70 next week, which is bonkers for October. But this will eventually get put away for the winter, and we'll see it in the springtime and see how it's doing. I think it could be kind of cool. So thanks for stopping in. This is Shady Bonsai.